They talk to us like we're idiots and we don't understand. And they do it right to our faces. And they're always telling us, like, we don't have money right now. We don't have money for this. We don't have money for that. They'll even say, hey, groceries are insane. Gas prices are seriously insane. Rent is mental right now. But you know what's insanely insane? Our taxes. And all of us are just supposed to eat and smile and say, yeah, we got to toughen up. And, we're all Canada strong. Right, Mark? Then today I open up an ATIP, and the ATIP's about a prime minister that's going to Rome for 2 days. And I find out that the catering was close to $100,000 Canadian. I will repeat that. It was close to $100,000 Canadian. I haven't even calculated all that other yet. Like, plane costs, fuel, hotels, security, the RCMP, and a long list of government officials. All the macchiatos and espressos that they could have while they're in Italy. And these people daily lecture all of us about being responsible. Like, come on. After I saw the entire ATIP, I'll be honest with you, it's actually troubling me. So I think the first thing that we need to all agree on is that if Canadians are obligated to live within the bounds of what constitutes actual reality, then our government is not allowed to go living in an alternate version of reality where they can spend like French bourgeois monarchs if they're going to take a trip. And this is only going to get more ridiculous the more I show you exactly why this is absurd. In what reality, Climate Carney, Mr. Save the Planet Carney, do you get to put the taxpayers on a $100,000 hook for catering? How is it that you get to sit in a 2-piece, 3-piece suit, tailored, sitting up high in the sky, enjoying the finest of food, when you know that your citizens that you claim to be fighting for are struggling paycheck to paycheck, going to food banks?
Some new numbers on poverty in Canada come with a stark warning. If more isn't done, the food bank system nationwide could collapse.
Well, a concerning new report from Food Banks Canada says increased levels of poverty and hunger are becoming normalized in Canada.
Are you truly this myopic or this stupid? But you know what makes this really worse? Let me tell you. If you go to the Government of Canada's travel guideline, in Section 4, of this guideline, it says, and I quote, that the travel rules for parliamentarians should be comfortable, convenient, but not excessive. I will repeat this. Not my words, your words. Not excessive. It also says that discretion needs to be taken, and it has to be used in a very prudent manner, and that spending has to further government operations, not hedonistic tendencies. Your words. Their words. Comfortable, convenient, but not excessive. That's your words. So what's the official record say? The record says that the Rome visit was 2 days. The flight was about 16.9 hours, going and coming back. The plane stayed in Italy for 48 hours. It says on the manifest that the Prime Minister was there, that he had a VIP crew. We don't know how many, but what we do know is that he had 19 crew members as staff operating this airplane. The manifest has redacted any other members that are on that flight since it's, paid by the taxpayer. So the $100,000 for food is not the whole trip, right? You haven't calculated or told us the cost of the aircraft, the fuel charge, the hotel charge, the vehicle charges, and all that. So we're just looking at $100,000 and we're already outraged. So I did some digging. Canada's CC330 model that we have for an airplane is modeled after the Airbus 330. And if we calculate the operating costs based on the A330, the amount of cost for a 16.8 hour trip comes out anywhere between $310,000 to $330,000 just for the aircraft. So you remember when I said the flight was about 16.8 hours? The reason I'm saying that is because that allows us to calculate the cost of the fuel. So if I use DND's fuel cost model that they gave to the House of Commons, that's about $11,000 for a liter of fuel every hour. If I take $11,000 Canadian and I multiply it by the 16.8 hours, that gives me $186,000 Canadian for just fuel. $100,000 in catering, $300,000 for the airplane, $186,000 in fuel for Climate Carney. Of course, for Climate Carney. Fossil fuels matter when I get to live the high life. But when I come to Canada, we need to be responsible. And that's for almost $400,000 that I can guarantee you right now. Guess what we haven't talked about yet? We haven't talked about the hotels. We haven't talked about the cars, security, the RCMP that's coming on this trip, all the cafe macchiatos and all the espressos and all the paninis and all this. We're just talking about the flight. Let that sink in. We're at 400,000 plus just with the flight, without calculating the entirety of this trip so far. So they get to spend an exorbitant amount, but we have to cancel our Disney subscriptions, right, liberals?
Last Sunday, I said to the kids, you're older now, you don't want to watch Disney anymore. Let's cut that Disney Plus subscription.
We have to cut back on our vacations, right, liberals?
Good news, kids. You can take a summer fun time vacation where you're locked in a car, and the Conservatives have a plan for you to have that summertime fun. And the cost? Give up the future of the planet, right? Don't worry, kids, about climate change. Don't worry about taking action on the planet. Enjoy your 10 hours in the car and let the planet burn.
We got to stop using plastic straws. They're hurting the planet while we burn thousands of liters of fuel to go have fun in Rome, right? While we don't have the hotel information for this trip, the security information for this trip, and all that other what we do have is records from the Trudeau government from 2 years ago. Remember when he had to go visit King Charles for his coronation? Do you know what the estimated cost per traveler? He had 102 people on that plane. The estimated cost per traveler for that trip was $5,300. This gives me a real world number to compare, even on a rough level, of what we were looking at in terms of cost. Who knows how many people Carney brought, but we're already at 400,000. We haven't calculated potential overtime for any of these people. Comfortable, convenient, not excessive. I don't know, Mark. Doesn't this look excessive? $100,000 in catering? Where's the accountability, man? Where's the responsibility with this? Based on my calculation of the amount of people that could have potentially gone on this trip, let's say it was the same as the Trudeau government, 100 people. This entire Rome trip for 2 days comes out anywhere between $650,000 to a mind-shattering $875,000. It could very easily be over $1 million for 2 days, while there are food banks and people not able to get food and shelter. You're spending $1 million for 2 days to go to Italy, and you're eating like kings. Comfortable, convenient, not excessive. Yeah, you forgot that rule a long time ago. Where is the non-excessive part in this trip, Carney? $100,000? Remember that it's not just $100,000. It's not just the stupid juice, the milk. You cannot spend close to $1 million on a 2-day trip. It literally says it in your rules to further government operation. Explain to me how a $200 steak for you and your staff advances government operation in this job, which to me is the biggest joke, because this job, you guys are actually called public servants. Public servants. You are the pigs out of the, what did the pig say? It is for your benefit that we must eat these apples. It is for your benefit, Canadians, that we have to live eating $200 steaks. That's the reality here. That's what pisses me off. While everyone's struggling, they're not paying for it. We're paying for it.